everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday today. I'm Abby Glassenberg, if I haven't had a chance to meet you. I'm the co-founder and president of Craft Industry Alliance, and we are the trade association for the crafts industry. So we come to you live every single Wednesday as part of our member spotlight series, where we get to drop in on a Craft Industry Alliance member and learn more about their business. Sometimes we get a little studio tour. We get to see some samples of their work, some of their best sellers, things like that. It's always a lot of fun and very interesting. And today we're going to be welcoming Rebekah Meier, who's going to be talking to us about her mixed media artwork. So I'm excited to welcome Rebekah when she gets here. While we are waiting for a few moments, I wanted to also just tell you about another exciting event happening at Craft Industry Alliance right now. So we are running mastermind groups, and this is a program that we run every single year. We only open it for 5 days a year, and those 5 days are this week. So good timing. If you are not sure what a mastermind group is, but maybe it sounds sort of intriguing or interesting to you, a mastermind group is a group of business owners who are all at a similar stage of business, who are all working toward similar goals, maybe are interested in a particular topic such as branding or leadership, productivity, product development, publishing, one of those sorts of things, social media marketing. Hi, Rebekah, I see you here. Press the plus button at the bottom and I'll let you in. And we will pair you up into a group like that. And then you will have the opportunity to meet with this group every other week virtually for an hour throughout the months of January, February, and March. And you will be able to first get to know them a little bit, talk about your business goals together. You'll be able to sort of help each other to face different challenges that you're facing, problem solve, brainstorm, connect each other with people you might know, all that good stuff. And once during those 3 months, we will actually send an expert consultant to your group to answer your specific questions. So for example, if you're in the publishing mastermind group, we will send an acquisitions editor from one of the main craft publishers to your group. And just the 5 or 6 of you and the acquisitions editor will have a full hour-long meeting together to talk about your specific challenges and answer your specific questions. So it's a really great opportunity. We hope that some of you might. So as I said, registration's open on our website. It is open for members only. There is a small additional fee just so that people are committed to the program. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi, how are you, Abby?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for
Oh,
having
good.
me.
Yeah, so good to see you and to meet you as well. And Rebekah, I understand that you do mixed media work, and I wondered if you could kind of define what that means for you.
Sure. So basically, mixed media means that whatever the piece of art or craft that you're creating uses a bunch of different materials to create the finished work. And that can be in fabrics, different fabrics and maybe embellishments, or it can be paper, like collage, or it can be like I prefer to do. I like to combine fabric and paper in my artwork.
Wow, that's super cool and very freeing because it
And
sounds kind of like almost anything goes.
yes, for sure. And layers, a lot of layering.
Right, too, which feels like forgiving if things kind of go awry. You can fix it maybe.
Oh,
Um,
very much so.
yeah, very cool. So how did you first begin exploring mixed media?
Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit. Um, I have some of my stuff laying here that explains it. I always have done crafts when I was younger and stitching and such. And then I started doing craft shows, making my own things to sell. And eventually, through networking, I was asked to do, and there's like a big amount of time in between here. the craft shows in here, but in a nutshell, I was asked by C&T Publishing if I could do a book on what we just talked about in fabric, and so I
So it's
um,
called Fabric Art Collage, 40 Mixed Media Techniques.
yes, and then after that came more fabric art collage. So those in a nutshell are really what I'm about, and that led to product lines with manufacturers. One of um, one of them I designed was for Bucilla, and it was a stitching kit with felt. Then this was, a long while back, but the kit came with pre um, printed,
Oh, nice.
and then I gave instructions, on what stitches to use and so forth. So that's one thing that I was asked to do. Um, and then came some fun things in this spectrum of time. I'm working with manufacturers and editors of magazines, having stuff in craft magazines, but as well as like quilting arts and technique based.
Right.
And then I was asked to do for Fabric Editions a line of mixed media for fabric. Um, I don't know, is that like turned?
It always shows up flipped, the text, but it's okay. We can still, yeah,
Okay,
it's just the way it is on Instagram for some reason.
I know. Okay, so this was called Fabric Elements,
Okay.
and within it there were different things to create mixed media, like there were stencils
Okay.
and just things, to decorate, like tags.
Uh-huh.
There's some Assenberg and then wool felt. And then it was my job to, this was a booklet we had, that to tell people how they can create with these materials.
I see. I see.
And my along with the books, and combining paper and fabric, I had this craft background, but I also had some quilt background. So I thought my philosophy, or what I was thinking, was how can I combine the two? So it's much more prevalent now. I'm so happy to see
Yeah.
that people are using inks and paints and
And art quilts especially. Yeah.
yes, definitely. Painting their own, dyeing and painting and using
Totally.
inks. hmm So it also had a some fabric. So that was really fun. And
Yeah.
um, then also, then that went for a while. And then I was asked by, actually, this one I pitched to ThermoWeb, and it's a mixed media um, uh, product line. And using, again, ThermoWeb, they have both craft products, and then they also have been in, interfacings and
Right.
fusible web forever. So my program with them again combined their products and ways I show how to use it. For instance, this is mixed, what I call mixed media paper, and it's paper, but it's adhesive backed. And what
Ah,
I asked them to do was, it, it's blank, um, and you can decorate it with paints and inks and fabric. And it's you just pull off the back. My
ah,
husband can't do it, and then you can stick it wherever
right.
you want. And then what I wanted was that you could machine stitch through it.
Ah,
So that I thought was important. And then there were foils. um, adhesive for the foils, um, and some tape. Um, so that was fun. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, I'm imagining as a mixed media artist that I would become, if it were me, a big collector of things,
Hmm.
just interesting pieces of paper, labels, all kinds of things
Yep.
that might at some point strike me as useful or the perfect piece. So I'm
Hmm.
wondering how you, especially since you have glue, you have tape, you have all these, you could use beads, I mean, fabric. How do you keep your studio space organized, or any tips for people who want to get into mixed media but not have a massive sort of chaotic mess in front of them?
Well, when I'm creating, I do have a mess. And when at the end of a project, I like to clean up my area, and I have specific areas that, for instance, paint goes here, fabrics and interfacings and such. I have a place for them. So they go back to where
They
uh,
came from.
they came from.
Right, right. Okay. And then do you have any favorite glues, favorite scissors, favorite brushes, that sort of thing? People always want to know what's the best one to use.
Oh gosh. I always say buy the best brush you can within your budget.
Okay, right.
Um, the higher you go, the better the quality the brush
Right.
will be.
And yeah.
And um, so I don't know if I have them on my, oh, I do. Good. So I have, you know, scissors for fabric and
Right.
scissors for paper and the other stuff. And I always, one of my favorite is to have the nonstick. You can see I have
Yeah.
some paint on there,
Hmm.
which is good to have because it's cleanable. It won't stick as much. And then I have I have an abundance of scissors. One and I used to attend, but I just learned this morning that Quilt Market is no longer, which is
Yeah,
sad.
it is sad.
But I would attend there to get knowledge about my the fabric side of what I do. And would look at the tools like the
Yeah.
scissors, and that was a good place. I don't know how to spell it, but one I picked up that I particularly liked was Kai. Is it
Yeah, the
Kai?
Kai
Hmm.
scissors. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then
Yes.
that I use a lot, and those are like my good scissors for
Yeah, I
fabric.
have a pair as well. And I do love them. And I love good tools, like you're saying about spending, what you can to get the best brush. Same thing with scissors, because I feel like, if you take care of them,
Mhm.
you can use them for a really long time. And
Yes.
I like to get my scissors sharpened every year. And a
Hmm.
good pair of scissors, if you get them sharpened, they're like brand new.
Yeah,
And that's great. So,
for sure.
yeah, rather than putting good money after bad and buying things that are less expensive, but then the bristles fall out and get stiff and you can't use it anymore, might as well
Hmm.
invest in the good stuff once you really do like. And if you're just experimenting, that's one thing. But if you do know you want to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And then within the product lines of the brush companies, they have a good range of, like beginners to more the more expensive, which are the better quality.
And then the other thing I was going to ask you is you've done these different collaborations with different companies. You mentioned CNT Publishing and
Hmm.
ThermaWeb and a lot of different places that have hired you to create kits and instructions, even develop specialty products that are for those specific projects. And I'm just wondering if you have any tips for people who are sort of more at the beginning stages of their business when it comes to developing those relationships,
Sure.
finding who to contact or how to have a professional presence with those companies and be successful so you get asked to do another project after that
Sure.
one concludes.
I would say pick. the companies that you use their products and you really like their products, and then show the companies what you're doing with their products. And
Right.
that can be nowadays, used to be magazines, and books, but now, it's social media and such. um, and show them, what you're doing. And that's a good entryway into, and then if you have an idea and they've seen, well, you're using our products,
Right.
then, they might be more open to working with you. And
Absolutely.
so also I go to the trade shows. Um, NAMTA, which is the
Mhm.
art materials and
Yeah.
craft creativation, and then the H&H
Hmm.
America,
Yeah.
and what's the other one?
Well,
Anyway,
It was Quilt Market, but
yes,
not anymore.
yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, and then if I have an idea, now I'm not afraid to just approach somebody, or even better is to make an appointment with
Yeah.
whoever their contact is. Um, so I've done both, but now, it's better, and that's a good way to network.
Absolutely. And
If one company sees you, that you're working with
mhm.
A, then they'll say, "Oh, she's okay." Then, they're more open to working
Yeah.
with you if you have an idea. So, um, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, that's great advice. And, just like kind of go for it, tag them on social media.
Hmm.
And keep in mind that two things I wanted to say in reaction to that. One is that companies need content. So if you're
Hmm.
creating something unique, beautiful, different, interesting, fun with their product and you show it to them, the likelihood that they're going to want to repost that or use it in some way is pretty high because we all need content today. So I think that that's really smart. Just go for it with products you already love.
Hmm.
And then the second thing I was going to say about trade shows is it's very efficient, right? Because all of your brands that you want to connect with are right there in the same room.
Yes.
So you can come in, and it is expensive for sure, but you can come in for a day or two and meet with all of them, or connect with all of them in some way pretty fast, which is a really nice thing if you think about it, how much work it would be at home to try to do that.
Yeah. And then another avenue is, and I've done this, I've worked for manufacturers demonstrating their products in a booth at a trade
Okay.
show.
Mm-hmm.
If they, really like you and like what you're doing, and that you're proficient in their product, you could, ask them about if you could demonstrate for them,
Yeah. Great
wherever they
idea.
need it.
And that's also a way, sometimes that's a paid gig that you can get, and it can kind of offset some of the costs of attending the
Yes.
show if you do a few hour shifts here and there with different manufacturers demonstrating their product. And, we at Craft Industry Alliance have our members demonstrate in our booth throughout the entire show. So another opportunity to file away for folks who want to do a demo and have some time on the show floor doing that. We would love to have you. So think about it. We will send out signups as we get closer to the
I would
show. And
love to
then,
do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'm signing you up. So Rebekah, count yourself in.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, this is great. I love that you've built a career around doing something that you truly love. And do you have any I know magazines are a little harder to come by nowadays, but any book recommendations? Obviously, you've got your own books, but any like books that you love that you always turn to for inspiration, or magazines that you would tell people, if I want to get started with this, this would be where I would go.
I like a lot of the, books from England, and I believe the publisher is Batsford.
Okay,
Or
yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm inspired a lot by their authors and their books.
Okay.
Um, and then, I just peruse the internet, and if anything catches my eye, then I'm a big book buyer
Okay.
myself. It'll take me my lifetime to go through all of them. The same with classes. There's so
Yeah,
many good classes online, um, that if you want to learn something new or even brush up on what you know, um, that's a good place. Now these days, um, I do a lot of digital designing. So in like Adobe Photoshop.
yeah.
So I have a line of rice papers
Oh, those are beautiful.
that that I partner with a company online called Joggles.
Yeah.
And so Joggles, I have my papers. I have these are new. They're called ornamentals. And what they are, I designed them for use with fabric and paper. They're watercolor, and so you can do, if you follow me, then I'm doing ways to use them. And then I also have foam stamps with them as well. And what I like to use the foam stamps for is when I decorate my own fabric.
Okay, yeah.
And
So
I,
fun.
oh, it is. And I recommend that. Fabric is so expensive these days. I'm a big believer in recycling
Yeah.
and thrifting and
You
know,
can get a queen or king size white or ivory sheet at the
for
thrift
sure.
store.
Hmm.
I've done it recently. We did some sashiko, we did some tie dyeing, some ice dyeing with my family. And I mean, you can tear that thing up into
Oh, for
pieces.
sure.
And the whole family's got multiple pieces from it, and each one's
Yeah.
unique. So
Yeah.
it's very affordable. You can get like for $3 a huge
Yeah.
piece of fabric that way.
Or like linen, all, it goes on and on and on. So I'm a big believer in recycling when you can. And like I said, I paint my own fabrics and design them because of the cost. And plus I enjoy it.
Yeah, and then I mean it becomes an extra stage of the process, and then whatever you end up making from that fabric is 100% unique, and you love it even more.
So this is a
Oh, look at that.
these are all hand painted, and then so my quilts are more unconventional, more
Yeah,
art quilty. So but I love, like scratch using your own fabrics.
yeah.
And and then I like mandalas, so I
Oh
make
yeah.
make them.
I
And
love
then
the beads.
in
Yeah.
stitching, I love it all, basically. What I don't I know how to knit and crochet, but if I had the time, I would make like embellishments with them for my stuff. But
Yeah.
and then this is combining fabric and paper and a lot of layering, and it's on dyed silk, which
Beautiful.
there's just very tactile. And
And you could combine some of those fabrics that you design yourself with commercial fabrics, right?
oh,
There's
for sure,
there's
for
no
sure.
limits. You can
Mm-mm.
mix and match and incorporate pieces of your own, pieces of denim, pieces of whatever you
You
want.
can over dye
That's true too,
things.
right?
If you have one that you don't isn't your favorite, you can over dye it. I like Rit dye. It's cheap. You can do a lot with Rit dye. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's just endless possibilities.
Wonderful. Well, this has been really inspiring talking to you, Rebecca. Thank you for sharing some of your sort of career advice and history, as well as some inspiration. And what's the best way for people to stay in touch and see what you're up to next?
Well, I would love if people would follow me on Instagram. It's
Okay.
Rebekah Meier. And from there, and I really want to start adding to my email list
Okay.
because in the new year, I want to at least have a newsletter or some way that I can show people what I'm doing, um, and keep in touch that way.
That I'm a big fan of email marketing. So I say
Hmm.
wise move, good idea. So follow along on Rebekah's Instagram and check the website for ways to sign up for that newsletter. And yeah, thanks so much for being a member and for joining me today. This has been really
I
fun.
have learned so much from
Oh,
Craft
good.
Industry Alliance. I really like it a
Oh,
lot.
lovely. Thank you so much for saying so. And thanks to everybody who joined us today. And we will see you next time. All right. Bye, Rebekah. Take
Thanks,
care.
Abby.
Bye.
Bye bye.